Yo, what up guys? Ecomm Journey here, back at you with another update. Let's get right into the video. Sorry about the late upload. I've been scaling one of my products more heavily now, and that's been taking up most of my time. So overall update, I've been still trying to consistently do 3 hours a day, but sometimes in the holidays I was doing maybe 1 to 2 hours just because it is that time of year. Um, from the last video, I did cut my last product that I was testing that you guys saw the statistics for, and now I am testing a new product, but it's in the same niche like I originally planned for. If the first product didn't go well, I was just going to move on to the second product, which I did. And I'm also testing a new strategy, which is Virum's low budget strategy. It's actually been working really well for me, and I'm excited for the new video they just put out. If you haven't checked that out yet, you should go watch it. But overall, it has been working well for me, and I'm continuing to use it. So in the VRM strategy, there's 5 phases, and I was actually able to get to the 4th phase, which is scaling phase 1. The last phase, which is end game, is once you spend 5K on your ad spend. So I'm looking forward to doing that soon, but I'm also fighting profitability and inconsistencies right now. So that's the biggest thing that's holding me back. Just yesterday, actually, I was able to hit $5,000 on my complete store revenue since I started, and 3,000 of that was actually this month, which is crazy to think how fast you can scale. So some store updates. I took out some apps from the previous video and I added some new ones. So here are the ones that I've added. I added a discount code app for the cart page because there wasn't one, and I wanted to make it easier for customers to add coupons or discounts. I added an EU cookie bar. I didn't know what this was, but I saw it in another video, and it's basically like mandatory now for EU countries. It's just like a cookies pop up for your screen to make sure you're following GDPR guidelines. I also took out my one-click upsell in cart, and I added another upsell which didn't have a pop-up. So my original one was from Booster, and it had a pop-up, and it would kind of slow down the checkout process and also the speed. So I decided to take it out and put an in-cart upsell that just was it's just on the cart page, and it doesn't actually pop up and annoy the customer, so that they can complete the checkout and they can add the upsell if they want to. And I also have been testing out some analytics apps, so Order Metrics and another one called Profiterio, which I used to get at AliExpress invoices for when my store got a hold. And lastly, I've been testing Sweet Upsell, which actually has been doing pretty well. And that's just basically a post-purchase upsell app. And here's the apps I added. So Decode, Discount and Cart, um, EU cookie bar. This one actually isn't working for me too well. It shows up even in the US when I have the only EU setting toggled, so I might switch that. Here's the in-cart upsell app, Order Metrics, Profiterio. These are both analytic apps, and Sweet Upsell right here. If you guys want me to go over how to set these up, I can go over it in a separate video. Just let me know in the comments. So an update on my store. I did get a Shopify hold on the 31st of December, and it was like 100% hold for Shopify payments at least until I submitted documents and they verified my identity or whatever. And after clearing that up, which took like about a week, they gave me a 25% 90-day reserve. So basically what that means is they hold 25% of all Shopify payments balance. And if you get less than 1% chargebacks for the 90 days, then your money gets released, which is kind of a pain because 25% is basically your profit margins. And if you can't get that, you can't reinvest unless you have more money on the side or capital to reinvest. So this is an example of what email you'll get, and it basically just tells you you have to submit all this information for them to continue paying you with Shopify payments. So I submitted my ID. For proof of address, I actually wasn't able to do that since I just moved. So I just told them that. And then I also told them that my business association, that there's no filing yet because it's still a proof of concept store, quote unquote, and that like I'm a student and and I'm trying to make money on the side or whatever. And they didn't need all the information, but basically they just want to confirm that you're the person running the store, I guess. For the proof of inventory, I kind of just took AliExpress invoices and sent them and the shipping information was kind of a pain. They wanted to update tracking numbers for each order, but obviously I wasn't going to do that, so I just told them they are valid. It just the link isn't working for when you click the tracking number. The link wasn't taking them to the actual tracking page, but they ended up ignoring it and just giving me the 25% reserve. And then this is the reserve, the 25% reserve email you get. So basically, they're saying, you're shipping from China. You, as you know, that might take a while for shipping. So chargebacks are increased, and we'll hold a 25% reserve on all sales until 90 days. And if you have less than 1% threshold for chargebacks, then they release the funds. They also even tell you, since it's an inconvenience, that you could switch to another payment gateway, which is, I think, is kind of funny. But so anyways, for testing phases 1 through 3, I basically the only difference that I made from VRM strategy is that I did 15 interests instead of the 10 they do, and I set the ad sets the same at $3 a day with three different ads in each ad set. I didn't turn off the underperforming ads yet because some of them didn't spend enough, and I wanted to have more time for optimization. I launched a $3 a day CBO retargeting campaign kind of early just because I wanted to test it. I saw a lot of people on Facebook groups always consistently talk about the importance of retargeting, so I decided to just implement it earlier. And I only really retargeted like video views basically, or hot traffic, which is like people who visit your website or add to cart or initiate checkout. But basically all I did was website views. And I also started launching 75% video view lookalike audiences for the past 30 days on all the ads. So whoever watched any of my ads, 75% of that video in the last 30 days. And then I also created a page view 30-day lookalike as well towards the end of phase 3. And I actually was able to get to scaling phase 1, which basically is getting the profitable lookalike audiences and interest from phase 3 and upping the budget slowly. So in phase 3 in my interest campaign, I was able to up the budget to $150 a day from the $100 a day, but the campaign performance started dying, so I tried to scale back down to the original budget, and it still did worse. So what I ended up, and I think that has to do with the fact that there was only 2 ad sets that were running in that CBO because I turned off all the underperforming ad sets. I think that was making the campaign not profitable. So then what I ended up doing was just taking the 2 interests that I were still running in that campaign, relaunch them into a new CBO, and then dupe them to get 5 ad sets. I also duped the top performing page view 30 lookalike audience into a new campaign, and that was 1%. So for the 1% page view in the last 30 days, it was doing well. So I duped that one into its own CBO and set it at $100. I actually ended up turning off the original page view 30 because that one was not doing well overall. And I made a bunch of new retargeting ads when I started to hit, like $300, $400, $500 in ad spend. I made 8 image ads, and I also made a carousel ad, and I also am running the same 3 videos for retargeting. So in total, there's like 12 retargeting ads, which I don't know if it's too much, but I just made them because it was super easy to. So I said, why not? And just tried testing. But right now, I'm repeating testing phases 1 through 3 for new interests, and I'm also testing new audiences for lookalikes every single day. I've tested page view and 75% video views so far, and I'm going to and I've just launched 95% video views for the last 30 days today. Since I only have a limited cash flow, I can only test really like one lookalike at a time because each one's like $100. So for the next ones I'm going to plan on testing are the Facebook and Instagram post and page engagement, view content, visitors by time spent, add to cart, initiate, checkout, and purchase once I get enough data for them. And then once I hit 5K in ad spend, I will test out the end game strategy, which I'm pretty excited for because I know people get pretty good results with that. So once I hit 5K ad spend on this particular product is what I'm thinking, I'm going to test out end game. But the thing with it is that it's a $500 CBO, so I need to hopefully build up capital so then I could actually test endgame in the first place. And then I've also been on the side looking for suppliers maybe some agents to work with because I'm doing about 10 orders a day. And then also looking into Chinese New Year's because I'm a bit worried about that. But I think since I'm not scaling, I could get through it. Also, because the supplier I've been working with on AliExpress said they're only going to take a week off, and the shipping carrier is only going to take 10 days off. So I think I'll be able to get away with it, but I'll continue to look for better options if I can do it. So now I'm in my ads manager, and we could go through exactly what I was doing with this new product. I filtered it with only the VRM strategy, so you guys can see exactly what I was doing. So let's start from the beginning. I've started this campaign on December 25th, and you can see the only campaign I was running was VRM single interest. And basically this is just your initial test, $3 a day ad sets with so I was able to actually get one sale on the first day we even started this campaign. And overall the metrics look pretty good with a decent CTR link and cost per unique link click. And I'll take you through the whole duration of this campaign. So from the 25th to the 27th is what I was um, doing the initial phase and cutting ads that didn't do well. So on the second day, you cut ads with no add to cart. And the third day, you cut ads with no purchases. And so basically, that's exactly what I did. I spent $9 here, and I got all of these got sales. So I duplicated them, started phase two. So going into phase two, we did the same exact thing for the 3 days. Same rules, just made more interest that were similar to the ones that got sales, and basically validated the ones that already did get sales to see if those were actually good interest or if they were just lucky sales. And sure enough, I got more sales from 5 different interests, and some of the ones I even tested in the first one didn't do well in the second phase. So just keep that in mind for when you guys are testing. So after running it for 3 days, I got 5 ad sets with sales. So basically what I did is duplicated all of those into a new campaign, and that was phase three. So we have phase three from January 1st to January 3rd. I put all of my top interests in a campaign and duplicated the ones. I put all my top interests in a campaign. So originally there was only 5, but I just recently relaunched this to try to revive it because it was doing really well. It had a really good return on ad spend when I was using it. So it was doing well, but the problem was once I cut out the bad ads, the performance started to dip because of the amount of ad sets in the campaign, I believe. So that's when I just cut it. I ended up cutting it eventually and just making a whole new campaign, duplicating the ones that were actually profitable. And that's why I'm trying to revive it now, but my ad account got disabled, so I can't test right now. Basically, what I mean by revive is take the 2 interests that were doing well out of the 5 that I had originally, and duplicate the 2 one more time so that I would have 4 ads total instead of the 2. So then it's actually spending more and better with the CBO, because with CBO you want to do at least 3 to 6 ads per ad sets that are active to get the best data possible. And one thing I did differently was I left all the ads that I tested originally just because they all were performing well and they all had good data. So that's why I left them on. They recommend to narrow down to one creative that's the best and then use that after phase 2, after phase 1. But I just didn't. I chose not to do that. Maybe that's why my performance is dipping now, but I think it made sense just because then I could test more creatives that actually might be profitable and not cut them without realizing their potential. And this is also when I started running retargeting. So I only have a few things set up in retargeting. I left all the profitable ad sets from phase 2 and sync in the phase 1, and I still leave them on in case they're profitable. I don't know if that's a bad idea or not. That's just what I've been doing. So for the hot retargeting, all I was doing was website visitors. None of these were on at that time. And we can also look at my warm retargeting. And at this time, I only was running 95% video viewers and Facebook post engagement, I believe. Both weren't doing well. I think I also launched these very early, so it probably wouldn't do well. But I just wanted to test it because a lot of people on the Facebook groups preach it. So yeah, phase 3 was doing well out of all of them. And I did have a sale actually on 2 sales actually on the hot retargeting, which is great. And so let's see what I'm doing on the 4th. So on the 4th, I'm just still running phase 3 at $100 a day. I'm doing retargeting at $3 a day. Still leaving phase 1 and 2 on with the winning ad sets. Okay, now we can go and date January 5th. So yes, look at phase 3 still doing really well, by far the most profitable. And this is also when I launched 75% video view, and it did well on the first day, but performance slowly started to decrease, as you'll see on the 6th. So we could see that the phase 3 was still doing well. We launched 75 for all the video ads in the past 30 days, and the second day the performance dropped. So I just let it keep running for the next day, and then I also launched page view 30 here, and this one obviously didn't do well at all the first day. And I was actually able to get some sales on the hot retargeting and warm retargeting. That's probably because I launched all the new ads. All right, so now we're in the 7th. We could see that I was spending $5 a day now at this time for retargeting. Um, phase 3 was starting to decline, and this is because I paused one of the ad sets that spent over the limit, break even limit, and that's when I was left with only 2 ad sets in this campaign, and that's why I believe the performance dipped. So next time I'll just duplicate the ones that are doing well so that it's equal to around 5 ad sets that I started with, so that it keeps the optimization up. You can see that the video view started to decline as well, and the page view was still not doing well. So I think I turned it off after that day. And I still left phase 1 and phase 2 on. So now we're on January 8th, and we could see that phase 3 is declining more. So this is probably because there's only 2 ad sets. Page view was still not doing well. Video view 75 wasn't started to decline. Got a sale on phase 2, which is cool. And retargeting was still struggling. And this is also when I started to launch my second single interest campaign. I think this was the first day actually. And this was just a repeat of what I did the first time for the first 3 phases. So I just took the best interest from the initial phase and then duplicated into another new campaign with the duplicated ads, and then ads that were similar, to try and redo the whole process so that I could keep them up, so I could keep the data coming, so that the lookalikes would get stronger. And then I also started phase 2 of that, which is basically the same thing as the first testing phases. So basically the exact same concept, but I just used the audiences that I found that were doing well and made them, and then use those to start off the whole process over again. Then we can go to the 9th here. So yeah, phase 3 still not doing well. I think the next day I paused it. I think I ended up pausing page view, and I just took the best interest of page view here. So only the 1% was doing well. So that's why I duplicated it into its own campaign, and it did well on the first day, but then over time it actually started to decline as well. Phase 2, part 2, it was running. And then I started to launch all the new ads that I made for retargeting for both of these. So both of these have 12 ads total in them. And like I said in my slide, and they were starting to pick up. My break even is 1.4. So yeah, this is mainly unprofitable stuff here. As you can see, the day wasn't profitable, or wasn't break even at all. So yeah, we could see the page view 1% started to decline here. And then what I did was, since phase 3 was paused because it started to decline, I ended up taking the best ones and doing exactly what I said earlier, which is take the best ad sets from phase 3 that were doing well, and then duplicated them to our own campaign, so that there was roughly 4 or 5 ad sets with those only interests. And as you can see, it did well right here. And then, so this is phase 2, part 2. This was probably the 3rd day, so I was cutting all the ones that weren't doing well. Warm retargeting got a sale, and I upped the budget to about 25 a day. But I watched the new VRM video, and they suggest that you do about 5 to 10% of your total budget on retargeting. So I scaled back down to 15 a day. because I was spending 300. And these are all the previous phases that I left on. That takes me back to yesterday. So yesterday we did the top 3 dupe is doing well. Page view 1% is starting to decline. I launched 95% video views for 30 days, and that was warming up. Yeah, the rest of the phases are just like the leftover ads that were doing well from the previous phases. Yeah, overall you can see 1.1 ROAS not doing too well. And that takes me to today, which I got my ad account disabled for. So we only spent $10 today. What was good about today though was I got 2 sales with a really high purchase conversion value on the order. So that's why my average order value today was like $95. And I still did well, I guess, like overall, but I also got my ad account disabled. So that sucks. Some things I was planning to test was take all the interest that got sales for this entire ad account and put them into one CBO and try to like test that. That was something I was gonna try. Another thing I was gonna try were just more lookalikes, and I also wanted to test more lookalikes. So I was planning on testing visitors by time spent, initiate checkout soon, add to cart soon, purchase soon. Probably add to cart first because I was actually able to get almost 300. But yeah, overall this month 108 sales. You could see my average CTR link here. CTR all. Average watch time, um, CPMs overall like kind of high, but this is a women's niche, so makes sense. Sorry for the lag. I have a Chromebook. So yeah, 108 sales, cost per purchase was 25, but ideally this is 15, so that's why I was really struggling to get profitable. And yeah, I spent $2,760 to get back 3,700 basically. So that's still below my break even ROAS. And as I said earlier, it's 1.41. So that's why I'm really trying to find those profitable audiences and scale them and trying to like replicate what was working and what wasn't and trying to really make this profitable. But that's when my ad account got disabled. My new challenge is figuring out trying to get it back. But at the same time, I launched a new ad account that's a backup I had already and just started to warm it up. So I only have like a cold campaign for view content just to test my ads basically. But yeah, guys, I'll update you on the next video about how this is going, and hopefully I'll be getting to that 10K this by the end of this month, which I'm really shooting for. So the key takeaways for this video is to keep testing new interests and audiences, and that will continue to build up your pixel and give you better ideas of what's working. And that's the main thing I'm going to be focusing on to get profitable, because right now I'm breaking even or losing a little bit of money because of all the testing I'm doing. And so I'm hoping I can find good audiences and good interests until I can scale them, and that's when I'll become profitable. Also, don't forget to respond to your customers' emails and Facebook comments and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty important. You guys know that Facebook is cracking down on people with Facebook ratings, so make sure you guys are doing that. Don't forget about your cash flow. Make sure you have enough cash flow to fulfill orders and continue your ad spend. And I'll talk more about that in the next slide. Also try to boost your average order value as much as possible and remarketing like emails, SMS bump, whatever you got to do to boost your average order value so that you can stay breaking even when you're testing, because it is testing phases. And also be on top of your bookkeeping. This was something that I do relatively well, but not to the extent that I should. And it's very important to do your bookkeeping so that you know exactly how much money you're losing or making every single day and on your store, so that you're not just losing money consistently and you think you're making money. So my December analytics for last month, overall I spent $2,231.27 on Facebook ads. My cost of goods was about $475, and my store costs were $102 roughly. So overall I spent $2,800, and gross after the initial fees it was $1,918, and with that my overall net loss was $890. So from the last video I actually lost less money because of that new product that I was testing towards the end of the month. And extra costs, ad spy, influencer research, and that one-on-one call I did, which did help me with small store details. And just more it was good on the idea of talking to somebody who knew what they who's had successful stores before, and just telling me to continue doing what I'm doing and just keep focusing, and I'll get there soon. So it was a good thing based for more of my mindset than anything. So here's what we have today. Because my ad account got disabled, I actually was really profitable in the beginning of the day, and then everything obviously stopped by like the time it got disabled. But here's my stats for today. Really good average order value, pretty shitty conversion rate. And I've been using a little bit of Google ads to just brand awareness ads, and they've actually been doing pretty well. So I highly recommend you just include your brand search. So whatever your brand is, just put that in a Google campaign and run it for whatever countries you're running targeting to on Facebook. So here's the month to date, almost at 4K. I definitely would have broke this number if my ads account didn't get disabled. 8,000 visitors. Now, you'd ideally want this to be equal or the sales to be greater. And that's why I'm not profitable, I think. So I got to fix something in this funnel. I actually have a decent returning customer rate, 113 orders this month, 1.3 conversion rate. So it's getting better from last month. So maybe the little tweaks I did definitely helped. We can go to once I started this store on the 25th and to today, and we could see that I've done 4,800 just with this product. Actually, maybe not completely. There might have been some sales from the other product that just happened after. And we could go to the complete store, and we've done 6K, so super sick. We passed the 5K mark. That's awesome. I'm definitely think that this store could get to 10K if I could start scaling my ads again. And if I really once I figure out how to become profitable, it'll be a lot easier to scale because of the profits. But also, I have a reserve, so I will have to use credit or something to manage my ad spend and fulfill orders. So yeah, it's definitely getting better. I highly recommend you guys keep the remarketing and Google Ads, because that's really gonna help you with getting those sales that you might have missed if you didn't retarget. So something I want to talk about is credit cards and cash flow, because cash flow is really important when you're running ads and at the same time managing your store. So if you can get a credit card or use one, you should definitely do it. The way I would do it is get a credit card and only put your store expenses on that one card to make it easier to manage and track the expenses later. And this is something that I didn't do, so that's why it's a big mess. And when I do my bookkeeping, it's going to be a complete hassle, and I'm probably going to end up paying somebody if I can, hopefully. If you can get a credit card, try to get a 0 APR credit card so that you have more leniency on payments in case you have holds and reserves. So what that means basically is that you can pay the minimum and get and be fine and not get any interest because of that 0% APR intro period. Make sure you can fulfill the orders the same day and over the weekends, because processing times, Shopify Payments does not pay you over the weekends, and the processing times are 3 to 4 days. So make sure that you can maintain your ad spend while fulfilling orders. Because of this, I went applied for a new credit card, and I was actually able to get this Amex Blue Cash preferred card or something like that with a $5,000 limit. So I'm looking forward to getting that and using it from now on. But I feel that I'm gonna max that credit line out pretty soon. So either have to get another credit card or try to raise the limit. If you're not old enough to get a credit card, then you can just keep using your debit card. But as soon as you can, or if you can use somebody else's that's older than you, then it might be worth it to try. But make sure you're paying those credit cards off, because you don't want to mess up their scores, and that would be terrible pain in the ass for them. So just make sure to be responsible when you have a credit card. So the importance of bookkeeping. If you do this from the start correctly, then it will be a lot easier for you later for tax purposes and just managing your spend and everything like that. And I highly recommend you take the time to make a spreadsheet or an Excel when you're starting a new store to do this, because I didn't, and I've just been keeping it on notes, which makes it even more confusing right now. And that's why I've started to look into softwares that you can also use, and that's why I've tried Order Metrics, and there's also Lifetimely and Ali Connect, I believe. But they are slightly inaccurate. They might miss some amount of ad spend that day or some amount of order costs. So just keep that in mind when you're using a software. I think the best thing you can do is just hire somebody to do your bookkeeping once you have the money, just because then you don't have to deal with any of these. So on my other businesses, like I started in the last video, I'll update you guys on that. So I did get an ad agency around the time of the last video for another store I relaunched. And currently they've tested like 3 products and spent about $300 on ad spend, but we haven't really broke even. So I'm in the whole ad with the whole store and ad costs. I probably lost around $200 to $250 since starting with them, but it hasn't been a month yet. So I'll keep you updated on the next video. And for my social media marketing agency program, I've started cold email outreach and sent about 80 emails so far. The thing is, I've gotten no responses yet. And Mailgun, which is the sending provider, says that I'm getting an 86% open rate. So I feel like I should be getting at least 1 or 2 responses, but maybe it's just the niche I'm in. It's white collar, so maybe LinkedIn would have been a better idea, but I've never made a LinkedIn nor have the desire to right now. So I'm just gonna try to keep doing email outreach. And if I can't get any emails, if I can't get any clients for this niche within my next email list of 100, then I'll probably just switch niches to get something easier, at least so I can start. My goal this month is to send out 300 to 500 emails, and until I find at least 3 clients and get more than 5K per month reoccurring. My goal was to do this by January 5th, but I wasn't able to do that. And I think that's mainly because I was sending emails only on weekdays, of course, and the holiday kind of got in the way with it because I didn't want to send emails on Christmas Day, because then there's no point in doing that. And also, you have to remember you have to warm up your email. So I was only sending about 15 emails a day so that I wouldn't get my domain blacklisted, which can happen. Next week, I'll probably send out 30 and then ramp it up slowly until I can send out like 100 per day. So for my social media marketing agency, it's actually not too much. It's only been costing me around 200 this month, and that includes the email lists I'm paying people to do on Upwork. But yeah, it's not too hard to maintain. I'm not focusing on the site anymore. I did build the agency site, and it went out of trial period, but that's not even the most important thing right now. So my most important focus is getting a client, and then I can worry about relaunching that website again. And for my ad agency, it is $697 per month with $300 ad spend. And then my store costs $66 to keep running, but one of the apps I forgot to delete, so I got charged 20 or $30 for that for the month. So that kind of sucks. I'm gonna probably give this agency at least 2 to 3 months total, because then it wouldn't be worth. If I quit now, it wouldn't be worth it, because I wouldn't see any kind of result, and we've only tested 3 products. I feel like it's just maybe an investment I should do, but also not, because of what's working for me right now. And if I just invested that into my own business, then I could get completely different results. So let me know what you guys think I should do in the comments. I'll just probably keep it for at least 1 more month, and if I can't break even, then I'll just move on. Last month, I did actually get to $5,000, which is the most money I've ever spent. That's basically doubling the amount I've spent in the past like 18, 19 months of dropshipping completely. So, and I did that in 1 month, which is crazy. In January to date, I've actually already spent $2,500 just on ads alone, and it's about $300 a day at the highest, like maybe $400 a day at the highest. But right now, I'm doing about $400 a day. So yeah, it's crazy how fast things can turn around and you can scale. Yeah, I just wanted to update you guys on that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. Stay tuned for the next video, because by the end of this month, I'm looking to hit 10K in revenue, and that's my next goal. I hit 5, and I know I can hit 10 if I just keep up the ad spend and keep testing new audiences. This really all just changed for me when I started this channel, and that last video and that last product really got the ball rolling. And I feel like now I'm starting to actually gain traction, and this is the most amount of money I've ever made in dropshipping. This is like actually seeing success. So it's crazy to look back and think like how different of a position you can be in within 2 months, which is when I restarted dropshipping like every single day. And the consistency really does pay off, guys. So just remember that. Be consistent and do it every single day. Show up and you will get results. But none of this can be possible without capital. So definitely have some kind of cash flow or capital to work with to be able to test in the first place. See you guys in the next one.